What's good, guys? This is Internal Sadist, and this is part two to yesterday's live stream. And this live stream is pretty much called the "I Don't Need a Man" girl, which is actually part two to "I Could Do Bad All by Myself." And the thing about I was talking about this woman yesterday, type of woman yesterday, basically, and the reason why this is part two is because they're basically damn near one and the same for the most part. They basically portray the same characteristics as the other, and they pretty much carry themselves in a way that's not appealing, and they wonder why they wonder why they can't get men for the most part, which is very very sad. The sad part about that is like all these women believe that they deserve to have men, but at the end of the day, they do nothing and bring nothing to the table, and they get frustrated, and then they'll complain about then they'll say pretty much so they can save face. What they'll say is, "I don't need a man." That's typically what they say. "I don't need a man." What's up, McTown and Win? What's up, Adam Lynn? How y'all two doing? Don't worry, I'm gonna get it today. But yeah, it's stuff like that that blows my mind when it comes to women. They miss the mark on so many different things, but they pretend like they know everything and they pretend like they got shit when they really don't. And the sad part about that is women like this, they act tough on the outside, but inside they're falling apart. They're slowly dwindling, or it's almost like dust in the wind inside for them, for the most part. So it's like one of them things where women feel the pinch, and women feel it, but externally they try to play like they got this all in control and nothing's bothering them, when in fact deep inside it's all bothering them, and it's pretty much like dust in the wind, literally inside for them. And the problem with a lot of these women isn't the fact that isn't the fact that that they say they don't need a man. It's the fact that it's their stubbornness, and it's the fact that they're actually lying to themselves about not needing a man, because they're literally lying to themselves about not needing a man. And the sad part about that is, a good example of that is, now that Win brought it up, is ladies' night inside bars. If you ever notice, lady nights at bars, it's either half off, and they'll have free drinks pretty much the whole entire night. What's up, Psyche Soap? They'll have free drinks the whole entire night, basically, and they'll basically have like either they'll have no cover charge or half off the cover charge or a very small amount of the cover charge, basically, which is actually pretty funny, because at the end of the day, it's nothing like going to like one of these things, going out and like it'd be ladies' night, and these motherfuckers ask you to buy them a drink. Meanwhile, drinks is free for females, and they want you to buy them a drink. Like, let that shit sink in for a minute. These bitches is asking for free drinks. These is "I don't need no man" women ask you to buy them drinks on a night where drinks are fucking free for them. Like, make that make sense to me, pimp. Somebody make that make sense to me in the comment section. How is it ladies' night and the drinks are free, and you're asking me to buy you a drink? Think about that shit. And the sad part about that is, in all technicality, every single man that came through that door who paid a cover charge done already paid for your motherfucking drink. Because 9 times out of 10, you probably didn't pay a cover charge. You probably only had to pay like $1 or $2. The men had to pay like 10, 15, 20, $30 to get in the damn place. So in all technicality, the men are paying for your drinks. So it's all in technicality, I don't have to buy you a drink because I had to pay to get in this damn bar, because I technically paid for all your damn drinks. I'm one of the participating factors in your drinks being paid for, and the reason why it's fucking free tonight, for the most part. And the sad part about that is, this is the biggest disconnect that women don't seem to realize. They see a sign that says free drinks for ladies, and they still expect a man to have to pay. Like, meanwhile, back at the ranch, this nigga done pay like $15 to $30 to get in this fucking place. A cover charge just to get in this place. So in all technicality, every single man that walks through the door is basically like taxes when it comes to um the welfare program or the SNAP program or wherever you call it when you live where you live. You basically walked in the door, paid money so women could have free things. That's typically how that works at these lady nights. When they got when they don't when they're basically paying half price or free drinks all night. It's just facts. And the sad part about that is these are the same women that'll scream, I don't need no man. The reason why you don't need no man, you think you don't need no man, is because the reason why these drinks are free is because the men walking in the fucking bar. Because they got to pay a cover charge. That is the only reason why your drinks is free. So you actually do need a man. Because if none of these men showed up, this ladies' night shit wouldn't be popping. Let's just keep it 100. If none of the men showed up at this fucking bar, none of this ladies' night shit would even be popping at this damn bar. It's just facts. Because the bar would take a huge hit if no men showed up and it just ended up being a bunch of women. The bar would take the hugest hit in the world. The bar relies on giving women free drinks and men follow and simp men pretty much showing up at the bar to pay a cover charge. That's pretty much how your ladies' nights work. You bring this basically because I worked at bars and clubs I work security and a bartender at bars and clubs for the most part. And this is basically how it works. Bring some women. If you bring some women in, it'll bring some guys in. Bring some more women in, it'll bring guys with nice cars. Guys with nice cars will bring women. More women brings guys. Guys bring more women. Women bring more guys. It basically goes, basically that's how it works. You have a ladies' night, so women get free drinks. Men see that, they want to go out and meet some women. Guys come to the bar. More women will come because guys are at the bar. More men will come because girls are at the bar. More women will come because guys are at the bar. More women. Women already said more women will come because guys are at the bar. Then the guys that got money show up at the bar. Then those women that like those guys show up at the damn bar. And then because those guys showed up at the bar with the shit, more women show up at the bar. That's basically how you stack your people for the most part. You make it free. So women show up, and then men think they can have a chance with women, basically. And that's pretty much how we use people. That's pretty much how you use men in the bar and club industry. That's basically how you do it. Offer women free drinks and charge niggas at the door. Pay to play. That's basically what it is. And that's basically how that works for the most part. And what a lot of people don't realize, that's pretty much how bars make their money off of the free drinks. The men at the door gotta pay. And it's literally like a welfare system, literally, once you think about it. In the long run, or in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty much a big welfare system for the most part. Because think about it. All the women in the bar are getting free drinks. They didn't have to pay a cover charge or nothing. The men are paying anywhere between $15 and $30. And I'm basically lowballing it depending on where you live and what city you're in, basically. I'm doing the little cities, the little rinky-dink towns that don't got as much, pull or much sway that people won't show up in for the most part. Like your small towns, I would say your St. Paul's, your Pittsburghs, your Clevelands, places like that. If we're talking Miami and shit like that, Philadelphia, that's going to be about what, like $40, $50 and shit. It is what it is. It's just 100. It's going to be about $40, $50. And it is what it is. What's up, Corey Steele? But that's typically how that works. That's you basically bring in women, which brings in men, which brings in more women, which brings in men, which brings in women, which brings in the men with the cars. How Missy Elliott say that? Hook me up with the bad man with the Lincoln Jeeps and the Lexus Jeeps on the ballers with the platinum B's. Basically, that's pretty much how you stack your bar. And then the sad part about that, the more you stack it, the more people show up. They literally come in waves. First the women, then the men, then the women, then the men, then the women, then the men. That's pretty much how you do it. And if you can get some college boys, if you get some college kids in there, It's pretty much a wrap. I mean, not the ones that are actually legal. That is, I'm not. We ain't finna serve no underage people for the most part. But what's up, Go209, and what's up? Yeah, everybody. I already said what's up to everybody else. But pretty much, that's pretty much how you do it for the most part. And this is what I mean by women that always sit here and make excuses talking about I don't need no man. The sad part about that is that right there is a prime example of women needing men. Because without men, there wouldn't be them free drinks and there wouldn't be them ladies' nights at the bars for the bars and clubs for the most part. Without men, there would not be those things. Without men, there would not be any of the trappings and the comforts and the creature comforts that women have without men for the most part. It's pretty much what it is. And the sad part about that is we live in a society where women could be, I mean, men could be abused, misused, and thrown and casted aside for the most part in a society that they literally built. But women don't need, they don't need no man. A good example of women needing men was something that I mentioned yesterday on the trans the I think it was like was it in I think it was in the UK or was it in New York or something like that basically where apparently a week before a lot of women called off from work, and it was like it was pretty much everything worked like clockwork, like they were they were there basically. Trains weren't late, the subway system wasn't late, it was on time, and everybody pretty much showed up at the timely manner for the most part. Fast forward to like months later, the men call off. It crippled that morning rush. It crippled the hell out of that morning rush because there was no men there. All the women are there. They can't keep up with the pace. They couldn't keep up with the pace. They either didn't make the time, they were late, they didn't show up at all that crazy shit basically. And the sad part about that is I want to say there was less men that actually called off than there was women that called off when the women did the call off basically. But the sad part about it, those men literally crippled. Those men calling off literally crippled the fucking crippled the morning rush for people getting to work on time and shit like that basically. Because at the end of the day, you need men. But the sad part about that is men can actually pull their weight in women's weight, but women can't pull men's weight basically on the job. It's just facts. That's just facts. Women can't pull the same weight that men do on the job because women need amenities basically at the job to pretty much, that slows them down for the most part, which is facts. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some women that go above and beyond, but that's not too many. That's a small minority of women that do that shit. But at the end of the day, men were able to overcompensate for the women not making it to work. Men are always able to overcompensate for women for the most part. They're always able to overcompensate for other men. It's just facts. And the sad part about that is that morning when all the women showed up for work and there was like very few men, women were sitting there bitching and complaining and crying and saying that they don't think this is fair and they need to call some people in and they need to be firing some people and this, that, and the other. Now, mind you, these women done called off weeks, months before. And the men basically came in and rolled their eyes and says, go figure. And they got on their trains, they got on their subway cars, and they basically plowed through the whole entire day. Didn't miss a beat, didn't miss a stop, didn't miss shit. Kept everything going, flowing perfectly and on time with less people. And that's how men do it. That's how men make your day great. We can be missing like 20 women, but there could be 8 men, but we can make it seem like there's 28 motherfucking cars on the track. That's how we do it. We plow through shit. We don't complain about We'll complain about it. We'll laugh. We'll giggle, say, women. And we'll just get in our cars and we'll just plow right through that shit, basically. That's how men do it. Women will sit there, bitch, complain, talk about breaks, bathroom, this, that, and the other. You need a vacation and all this other great shit. You'll find reasons to complain. You'll find reasons not to be on time. And you'll find reasons to not want to stop for people and shit like that because emotions. Look, I listen to Corey Steele. I hope not Corey Steele. But yeah, it's the stuff like that that just blows my mind when it comes to people when they do things like that for the most part. And it sucks, but it's one of those things where like you got to pretty much worry about stuff like that in people. Like especially women, because like the sad part about that is men are very selfless for the most part. Men are naturally selfless human beings. But the sad part about that is women aren't selfless human beings. Women do things as long as it benefits them for the most part. And that's typically how that works. Women only do things if it benefits them. Men do things selflessly. Like a good example of that is men cops, they'll run out and save, well, all the good ones. In a time of need or a time of crisis, they'll run out in front of the hellfire of bullets and all that shit to basically protect citizens for the most part. These are all the good ones I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, women aren't finna do that. Women are more likely to be behind the men running out there to save everybody's lives, and they pretty much are sitting behind the cars looking for open to maybe return fire, if that, maybe. But the sad part about that is men just run out there, try to collect up as many bodies as humanly possible from the carnage that can ensue. That's typically how men work. And this is why, at the end of the day, like I said, women need men. Because at the end of the day, you would be nothing without men. There would not be no dishwasher for you to have an easy time. There would not be no probably no dish detergent. There definitely wouldn't be no washer and or dryers without men. There wouldn't be no fucking internet without men. There wouldn't be no fucking computers without men. There wouldn't be no cars without men, let alone your subway system, the whole entire subway system that you travel through every fucking day wouldn't even be a thing without men. The subway car that you're on wouldn't be anything without men. And the elevators that you ride up and down on wouldn't be shit without men. And it goes all the way up to the clothing that you wear, to the from the clothing you wear to the hospitals you walk in, the office buildings you walk into, the place that you work, the things that you buy, and everything that you partake in for fun. If it wasn't for men, none of this shit would be here. But go on and keep preaching how much you don't need no man. Because at the end of the day, only thing you're hurting is yourself. Because men literally look at you, laugh, and keep it moving when they hear a woman say that type of shit in this day and age. I don't need no man. Bye. That's pretty much what they do. Bye. It's typically what it is. Like, we keep it moving. We're selfless. We don't care. The sad part about that, what a lot of women don't realize is a man's not saving you because he's a simp. He's saving you because he's selfless. So if something bad pops off, he's basically saving you because he's selfless, and that's pretty much what he's been taught to do in his whole entire indoctrination camp. The sad part about that is you're going to run into a lot of men like me one day. When shit hit the fan, I'm going to laugh and negotiate myself out of the whole entire situation. I'm like, hey, look, bank robber, here's the thing. I'm black. A lot of these people are white. I'm probably like one of the few black people in here. I think you should let me go. Because I ain't see shit, I ain't hear shit, and I ain't saying shit. And if you take any hostages, you should probably take the women first, the white women first, because they're the majority. That way they can't say it's a hate crime. And you should just let me go, because I'll pretty much walk out. I won't say nothing, see nothing, or hear nothing, basically. And I promise you that for the most part, because I'm willing to negotiate my freedom if there's a hostage situation. I'm not willing to negotiate your freedom if there's a hostage situation, but I'm willing to negotiate my freedom if there's a hostage situation. It's just facts, because I've learned to be selfish. I've learned to be very selfish, because at the end of the day, I didn't grow up in the United States. I went to high school in the United States, but I didn't grow up in the United States. So I'm able to be very selfish. I'm not a selfless person. I mean, I do help other people when the time calls for it. It's kind of like what they say, it just felt right. That's typically my gut instinct telling me that I should help this human being or I should help this person. But the sad part about that, usually when that happens, when I render assistance to somebody, it's mostly predominantly men. It's mostly predominantly men or family members. That's it. Like when men and family members are friends for the most part, and those friends got a ranking system. So some of them don't even always get the praise or the help from me for the most part because you're probably falling in the ranks as a friend basically because you're a sucky friend. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, what a lot of people fail to realize is there's gonna come a time in history and in the near future we're gonna run into more men that pretty much are like me. And you're going to be devastated and you're going to have your feelings hurt and you're going to want to shame that man, but the man's going to laugh in your face and walk away. Basically, that's what I do to a lot of people. Like, especially because I remember the one time a woman got robbed and I laughed in her face and I kept walking. Especially that Asian woman that clutched her purse when she seen me walk up on her, and before the light even changed red so she could walk across the street, she took off across the street. White guy came the opposite direction, snatched her purse, and took off. And she gonna look at me like I'm supposed to help her. Like, man, when we were on the sidewalk, you clutched your purse and thought I was gonna rob you for your purse. Meanwhile, white guy out of nowhere came and stole your purse, and now you want me to save you. Like, how's that fucking work? Like, you can't treat me like a criminal and expect me to save you. It's just facts. It's pretty much what it is. Like, if you treat me like a criminal, I'm definitely not saving your ass. Don't look to me for help. Don't expect me to cape for you. Don't expect me to be a superhero because, quite frankly, I'm not a superhero. I'm not a superhero in the least bit. Okay? No, don't get me wrong. If the government's paying me to go over there and handle some shit because I'm a private contractor, then I'll be a superhero. But in the mean streets of United States, everyday United States, I'm not no superhero at all. Like, I don't give a damn about you. Like, I'm sorry. Because at the end of the day, how I look at it is like, because women are so selfish and they only do things that, if it benefits them greatly, if the situation, I'm pretty sure that's treated like a woman. If it doesn't benefit me, I'm not finna jump in it, especially if it's women, because women don't benefit me. Saving a woman doesn't benefit me in the least bit at all. Saving a guy is more likely to benefit me than saving a woman. It's just facts. Because at the end of the day, you're nothing to me, and there's nothing that you could do in return. Hell, if I save a guy, he's more likely to offer me money or give me a thanks or take me out to lunch, and his family's probably going to thank me and shit like that for the most part. If I save a woman, she basically felt like she was entitled to that saving. You see what I'm saying? That's the fundamental difference between men and women. If you save a man in society, he's more likely to actually return the favor and return everything for the most part. He's more likely to return the favor and give you give you money or take you out to lunch or get you a gift or the whole 9 yards. There's a much more higher likelihood that you're more likely to actually feel the reverberation of the benefit of saving that person for the most part. Whereas for a woman, she basically walks across the street with her nose up in the air like she was owed to shit, basically, because she's a woman. That's pretty much how that works. And that's the sad part about that. Women have gotten so high and mighty on their horses that when a guy like me walks past them and knocks them off the fucking horse, they get devastated. They feel some type of way. Matter of fact, I've been accused because I didn't help a woman. I've actually been accused. I've walked right past her. I've been accused of that they said that they try to file a report on me for abuse, all because I didn't help her, and I just let her get jacked up. Basically, it's not my job. Like, I didn't abuse you. You're the one that walked out in the street. Because at the end of the day, no matter how you cut it, no matter how you cut it, even though I might be connected by family, I'll go some motherfucker in a heartbeat in plain daylight. Basically, I'm very good at it. Shit, like hell, I've hung out with friends and disappeared like Batman on motherfuckers and shit. They turn back around. Damn, Tico, what the fuck, Tico? Like, nigga, you can at least say bye, nigga. What the fuck? Like, literally, I've literally ghost motherfuckers in the middle of conversations and shit like that. And that's typically how I operate. Like, what you ain't finna do is say some stupid shit to me for the most part, or expect me to save you because I'll ghost in a heartbeat. Be like, ninja, vanish. Throw down a smoke bomb and just disappear. Like, it's like, nope, didn't see shit. But yeah, it's just stuff like that that just makes it so rewarding when you actually don't participate and help people that don't deserve to be helped for the most part. Never help somebody that feels entitled to your help. Only help people who actually won't be entitled to your help. Because the sad part about that, there's some men in this day and age that feel as though they're entitled to help, but at the same time, men are more likely to reciprocate and or return the favor for the most part because their life was saved, which is sad. Even the most uppity men that work for like all these law firms, CEO men, basically, all these like presidents of companies and the Fortune 500 companies. The sad part about that, if you save their life, they're more likely to actually help. They're more likely to extend like their gratitude to you, basically. Because I know a man that was in the right place that actually saved a man from a Fortune 500 company. What's up, Laura Sos? I know a man that basically saved the he was like he worked for a brokerage firm, and the sad part about that is this guy has no experience with brokerage firmage, and the sad part about that, because he saved that man's life, the man gave him a job as an executive at his firm. He just gave him a job as an executive at his firm. And the sad part about that, the guy literally was like, I don't know anything about this. I don't want to mess up your company, this, that, and the other. He goes, don't worry. There's a lot of people that don't know about their damn jobs, and they got jobs, basically. That's what assistants are for, and people that work under you are for the most part. Literally what he told the man. Literally what he told the man. That's what assistants and people that work under you are for the most part. To make you look good. And the man's literally an exec at a financial consulting firm. All because he saved this man's life. This man's making bank. Have no work experience, have no schooling, have none of this shit and none of this field, basically. He basically was, I think, what did he do? He was basically a carpenter, and he happened to save a guy because a piece of something basically was falling, basically, and he like knocked him out of the way, and literally caught the literally he knocked him out of the way and literally caught it from dropping on other people, and the man seen it, was very gracious, and he literally gave him a job at his firm, his financial consulting firm. This man's an exec now. That's the type of shit that men are willing to do for other men who they believe they owe their gratitude to or want to give thanks to. They're willing to actually offer jobs to men that don't have the experience and put a team of people around them to make them look good. And the sad part about that is they eventually send them to like get education of some of sorts, basically, so they could be over to finances. Because like the neat thing about like working at a financial consulting firm or a brokerage firm or any of those types of firms like that is there's continuous education every year that you get, so you actually pick up things as you go along every year. It's almost like nursing, when nurses gotta do all these SCUs, ECUs, basically. CT, I forget. Depending on where you are, they basically call it different things. It's basically continuous education every year. But at a lot of these brokerage firms and all of these places, there's the same thing. So you can actually go to like the community college or an actual college, basically, to pick up skills. So the sad part about that is you eventually learn your job and what it does to be in your position for the most part, which is pretty nice. But it's stuff like this that makes me smile when I hear stories like that. Like, nigga had no experience in this thing, and he got offered a fucking job in this. But the sad part about that is he does his job better than Susan Wojcicki. Has zero experience, does his job better than Susan Wojcicki. Because men are willing to learn their jobs and their positions to basically better themselves. That's typically how that works. Men are willing to put in the effort and time to learn their positions by any means necessary. Let it be online courses. What's the one? Squares. The one where like they got the place on the internet where you can literally learn things by people of that profession on the internet. I think it's called Squares or Squarespace, or I can't remember the name of it. Basically, it's like a learning thing where you learn different things. I think a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about because a lot of the big YouTube content creators actually have them as advertisers or they advertise their stuff on their sites basically. But it's just stuff like that that people fail to realize when it actually takes place or when it actually happens and shit like that. But at the end of the day, like I said, if it wasn't for men, women wouldn't have all these amenities to say that they don't need men. Because without men, there would be none of these important inventions, none of these important things that make your life so much fucking easier at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, yes, you do need men. And yes, you do need a man. And in the famous words of I think that's one of them, but there's another one that I'm thinking of. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, in the famous words of Chris Rock, just because you can raise a child by yourself doesn't make it a good fucking idea. Just because you think you can doesn't make it a great idea. And that's the problem that a lot of women have because they live with all these amenities. They believe that they can do all this shit all by themselves when in fact they can't. Good example of a woman that can't do shit by herself. And I think that woman's actually married. The woman that broke down crying because her children has homeschooling. She literally broke down crying to the teacher who is teaching her children through education. Like, think about that shit. She broke down crying on social media and it went viral. She broke down crying on social media and in front of the teacher, and she was crying because she thinks it's hard that, she's got to raise her children. She's actually got to raise her fucking children, basically. And the school's not raising her children for her. The sad part about that is that's a part of your job. A good example of that is after Deshari died, I was single. I was raising 2 children by myself. They were basically in kindergarten, first grade, basically, for a long period of time, and when I was raising them by myself. And the sad part about that is when they were sick, I basically took off from work to basically stay home with my children. Didn't complain one iota. With my daughters, Deshari and Kierna. They're named after their mother, basically. Their mother's name was Deshari, and her middle name was Kierna. So I named my daughters after their mother, basically. She passed away, which really sucks. But at the end of the day, when this actually took place, anytime that they got sick, I didn't complain that the school should take care of them. I didn't complain because at the end of the day, what happened was I was actually suffering worse than most other people were. When that actually took place, I couldn't get no public assistance. I couldn't get none of them extra programs that women so love and enjoy off of the backs of taxpayers' dollars, basically. Even though I paid into the system and shit like that, I couldn't get none of that shit. I was literally a single father with no help. That's the cold hard reality of today. And I got zero help from the government. I got zero help from any of the grants or extra shit that, these women get for the most part, which is very sad. Because at the end of the day, I was able to work through it, power through it, suffer through it, and my daughters end up being great young women, basically. They're 16 right now. They end up being great young women who love their father and obey the rules and don't get into any shit for the most part, which is actually really, really nice. They don't get into shit. So at the end of the day, because they were able to go through the struggle with their daddy, I tell them, you deserve everything that you get from me, basically. I mean, they don't never ask for anything at all. Like, if they do ask for something, it's because they either need it or it's because, they deserve it, basically. Like, I think the only thing that they ever asked for was their vehicles that they got during their quinceañeras. That was the only thing that they ever asked for. They never asked me for anything else before that. They never asked for toys. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Christmas thing, obviously you're going to ask for toys, but they never asked for toys throughout the whole entire year until they did their Christmas list or their birthday list, what they want for their birthday or what they want for Christmas, and that was it. Like, they didn't, like, if I went to a store with them, they weren't like falling out on the floor crying like little girls or throwing a temper tantrum because daddy wouldn't buy them a gift. They never did that. They never did that at all because I raised them to be well-adjusted young ladies for the most part. My daughters never did that. My daughters never acted like that in the least bit. And I tip my hat to my two daughters because they literally went through the struggle with daddy, basically, when daddy was at his lowest. So they deserve the shit that they get because they never asked for anything. And when they did ask for something, it was something that they actually needed. And when their quinceañeras rolled around, all that stuff they never asked for and never gotten, that all these other kids fall down on the floor, cry, kick, scream about, up to they deserve the vehicles that they got during their quinceañeras. It's just facts. That's how I work. Like, I'm not finna to spoil somebody that's acting like a spoiled brat for the most part. I'm not finna do something nice for somebody if you act like a fucking brat or if you act like you deserve shit for the most part. That's typically how I operate. It's just facts. But it's stuff like this that blow my mind. And the sad part about that is I was going to put this in another stream, but this basically falls under I don't need a man. Is all these women who got this newfound glory to go to school and go to school at a higher rate. If it wasn't for men, you wouldn't have the opportunity to go to school and learn all this shit to remotely turn around and say, where are all the educated men at? How come there's no educated men for me, basically, at the end of my school trip? Because the sad part about that is in the whole entire US, there's only 20 grants for men. Only 20 grants for men to go to school. And I think the most that it goes up to is about, I want to say 20,000, maybe 40,000. And the sad part about that is there's anywhere between, I think, 200 to 3,000 grants for women to use to go to fucking school. Where do you think this money came from, ladies? It came from fucking men. Hardworking men. Got you these 200 to 3,000 various different grants and loans. And the sad part about that, half these grants and loans go up to like $80,000. The highest the grant goes up for a man, I think, is like 20,000. Yeah, it was 20,000, give or take-ish. But the highest grants go up to for women are 80 fucking thousand. Let that shit sink in, ladies. Let that shit swirl around in your head, ladies. They got all these grants out here starting from $10,000 to $80,000 for fucking women. Anywhere between 200 to 3,000 grants for women alone. Just for women. There's only 20 for men. This is why there's a disparity and you going to school or not, basically, why men aren't going to school. Because there's only 20 grants for men and there's like 200 to 3,000 grants for women. You know what a grant is? That's basically free money. That means somebody threw free money at you, so throwing free money your way so you can actually get your education. This is why men aren't going to school at a high rate. And the sad part about that, at the end of the day, despite the fact that you complain there's not enough eligible men, the sad part about that is men are still going to school at the same rate that they've always been. It hasn't really dipped off. It lowered a little, but they're going to school at the same rate that they've always went. Only thing that changes the number of women that go to school that makes the number of men drop for the most part. Because at the end of the day, the men are still going to college at the same rates that they were in the beginning. Only thing that skews that number is the amount of women going to college now because of all these grants and loans and shit like that are purpose for women. It's just facts. So what you can't do is say you don't need men when there are men literally paying for your fucking education and for you to get all this stuff and for you to run around and read on college campuses and act stupid. Men are paying for that. Men are literally paying for that. Without these men, you won't have these grants. Without these men, you won't have this opportunity to go to school. Without these men, hell, you would have never got to vote without men. All this shit that you enjoy, all these lectures you enjoy, is because of men. What's up, Americus? All these luxury that you enjoy is because of fucking men. It's just fucking facts. The faster you learn that, the better off this whole entire world will fucking be. Because you're not entitled to shit. Because at the end of the day, like they say in a rap game, tomorrow's not promised today. Let that shit sink in. Tomorrow's not promised today. All this shit that you love and enjoy to the gluteus maximus is not promised to you tomorrow. You're not promised tomorrow for this shit. Hell, you can get this grant and loan, but you're not guaranteed to graduate from school because something might happen to you. That's the problem with women. Or you'll get there and finish the shit and find out that either there's no job at the end of the rainbow for you, or the degree that you took probably wasn't the best choice. Or you'll find out that the reason why you went to school is for your own personal gain and not because not really because you wanted to meet a man, basically, because at the end of the day, a man dates a woman who he can actually get use out of, basically, or mileage out of, basically. He doesn't date a woman that, he can't get nothing, he can't get mileage out of, basically. And the sad part about that is, at the end of the day, a lot of men want to have children. And if you're in your mid-30s and you're trying to settle down, by the time you calculate from the time you settle down to the time you get engaged, to the time you get married, to the time you walk down the aisle, to the time you're ready to have children, that's anywhere between 4 to 5 years of your life that's gone. Sometimes 7, 8 years of your life is gone, depending on how long it took you to get to the damn altar, basically, and walk down the aisle. And by the time you're actually ready to have children, because usually women tend to wait till after they're married to have children and shit like that, for the most part. It's just facts. So it usually ends up being anywhere between 4 to 7 years before you actually are ready to have a child. And if you're in your 30s, you're basically 40. And the chance of you having a child is slim to none. And the sad part about that is men don't want to be saddled up with women who have a low chance of actually being able to have children. Men don't want to have to, and before women say, well, we got this in vitro fertilization, and we got this IVF, and we got these freezing eggs and shit like that to help women so they could do that. No, men don't want to have to pay for that shit. Men want to be able to do it naturally. Men don't want to pay thousands of dollars that could be going toward the household, all because you all of a sudden now want to have children. And that's what it's going to cost them. It's going to cost them thousands and thousands of dollars. That's thousands and thousands of dollars for you to have a new car because your husband loves you. That's tens of thousands of dollars for to do additions onto the fucking house. That's tens of thousands of dollars to pay back the fucking you walking down the aisle your special one day. That's tens of thousands of dollars for that. That's tens of thousands of dollars to pay off all y'all student debt. That's tens of thousands of dollars that y'all could use to go on vacation. That's tens of thousands of dollars that you can use to pretty much splurge and get nice things with. Why would a man want to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a pipe dream of you possibly freezing some eggs or in vitro fertilization? Why the fuck would he want to pay extra money for that shit? It's not even worth it. He could do other shit. He could date somebody younger who can actually have children. And this is typically what men actually look at and go for. And the fact of the matter that you're trying to shame men for this shit, I find it very laughable because you got women running around here dating 78-year-old men who are rich. Gee, I wonder why that relationship happened. It's just shit like that that just blows my mind when you hear women say they don't need a man. But at the end of the day, you still need a man to have a child. You still need a man to have a child. Well, I don't need a man. Okay, so are you married? Are you Mary Mag? I mean, not Mary Magdalene. Are you the Mother Mary of the Catholic faith? Are you going to have the Immaculate Conception? No? Then you need a man to actually have babies, basically. Well, I don't need a man. Okay, so where are you going to go and so you can actually do this? The sperm bank? Do you know who's on the other side of that sperm? Men. I rest my fucking case. You need a man. It's just that simple. And the sad part about that, if you don't, and if the sad part about that, and the sad part about that is, look no further than the UK right now. They're calling out to all men to come donate at their sperm bank because there's literally, I think, like 7 samples at the sperm bank of 7 different men, if not 3 to 7 different men at the sperm bank. So the sad part about that, in Great Britain in the next few years, all those women running out to the sperm bank to get pregnant are basically going to have children that are related to each other. So in all technicality, a lot of these motherfucking women that are having children in Great Britain right now, that are raising their own single children, are all going to be related, and they're not going to be able to carry on the genes because it's going to be their sister or brother that they're having. Like, think about that shit. In Great Britain, there's only like 3 to 7 donors in their sperm bank. 3 to 7 donors, and their sperm bank is like trying to do everything in their power to get more men to donate sperm, and nobody wants to because apparently there's a law in the UK somewhere in the European Union where a woman can actually take you to court for child support despite the fact that, you know, she got the sperm at a sperm bank. Like, let that shit sink in. So right there lets me know the fact that a lot of men don't want to donate because they don't want to be taken to child support court lets me know that women need men. Women need men. Because at any time, you can go to a sperm bank, then turn around and then try to take a man to court for child support from a donor, a sperm bank, basically. That lets me know you need men. You need men more than you think you need men. And that's pretty much the cold hard reality of today. Women need men more than men need women. And that's always how it's always been. Because at the end of the day, men really don't need women. You give a man like, you know, you give a man his hobbies and the things that he loved to do and enjoy all his life, he won't even think about a woman. You give him, if a man likes video games, if a man likes video games, he won't even think about a woman. It's just facts. So what you can't tell me is that stupid shit about, you know, I don't need a man, when in fact you actually need a man more than men need you. It's just facts. Because, like I said, a man basically can go his whole entire time in his life without thinking. Matter of fact, a man can go days without eating. Shit, I've done it. Like, legit, like, I remember when I was in high school, I used to literally play video games. Like, a nigga was a straight savage gamer. Like, I would come home on Friday nights. I would go to the local store. I would buy me some Flamin' Hot Cheetos, some motherfucking green tea, like the green tea stuff that stuff that you buy at the store, the sweet stuff, basically, that I think Lipton used to make, basically. And I used to just sit there, play video games, and eat Cheetos for 2 straight days. 2 straight fucking days. Didn't bother to get up to do any damn thing else but play video games. Hell, there's been times when I've actually been working or doing a hobby or something I like to do, like reading or, you know, martial arts, and I didn't eat for 2 days because I was doing martial arts one day and I was doing reading the next day, and there's been times when I haven't eaten for like 2, 3, 4, 5 days, basically. All because I was actually enjoying something so much. Because the sad part about that, despite the fact that, everybody has necessities, a man can always put off his necessities for something that he really, really enjoys or something that he really, really loves doing. That's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much what it is. Because the sad part about that is men will forego all this stuff in the infrastructure just to make the world safe for other people, women and children for the most part. Because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for men, there wouldn't be that lovely saying. When she hits the fan, there wouldn't be that lovely saying of women and children first. If it wasn't for men. If it wasn't for men and men weren't gentlemen, there wouldn't be that saying of women and children first. Because we all know if shit hit the fan, women are going to try to use that to their benefit. They're not going to stick around on the ship to try to get people off the boat. They're literally going to jump in the ship. They're going to jump in the boat first and go, right, women and children first, right? Right? They're going to already be in the boat talk about women and children first, right? Basically, and the sad part about that is women are willing to leave the children to jump in the boat just so they can save their own fucking self. That's typically how that works. Women are willing to jump in the boat without children to save themselves before they save anybody the fuck else. Because at the end of the day, women are fucking selfish. That's the reality that we live in today. A bunch of selfish women. That is the exact reality of the day. Selfish women. Because most of the abortions that are had by women are done for on their own selfish gain. Only like 0.2% of them, 0.1% of them are for rape. Only fucking are for like majority of the abortions that are actually had at these clinics are literally for because their own selfish gain, basically. I don't have time to raise a child. I can't afford to raise a child. I'm not with the father. It's just shit like that, basically. That's the main majority. And the sad part about that, before a woman even argue this shit, medical issues is actually at the bottom of the list, just at the same rate as rape victims who actually get abortions. It's actually 0.02% or something like that, or 0.2% basically of women who actually get abortions for health issues, for threatening health issues, or for other issues. If it impedes on their life, I don't have time to raise a child, or most of the majority of the fucking abortions are, I don't have time to raise a child. It's going to impede my life. It's going to be a drain on me. To stuff like, well, I don't know who the father is, or shit like that for the most part. Most of the reasons for women having abortions are for selfish reasons. Because it's going to impede on their life. It's just facts. At the end of the day, women need men more than men need women. And that will always be the fucking thing. Because at the end of the day, you don't hear a man coming out from college talking about where have all the eligible women went to. They actually find people and they get married and they go on about their merry way. It's the women who come out of college who complain about this shit. Where have all the good men gone? Where have all the eligible bachelors at? Where are the economically attractive men? That's typically what women write and shit like that. You don't hear no men coming out from college saying this shit. Because the sad part about that, majority of the men who come out from college don't date you. They date somebody either who didn't go to college, or they date somebody who is much younger than you. Because at the end of the day, a man ain't finna saddle himself with a person who's damn near too old to have children, or who pretty much, it's basically a risk assessment analysis. Think of it like that, ladies. Risk assessment analysis. I know that might be hard for you to figure out what a risk assessment analysis is, but think of it like this. If I told you that if you today, I'll give you $10,000. I'm trying to break it down for women easily. I'm trying to make it sound like risk estimate analysis. If I give you today, I can give you $10,000, just $10,000 straight cash today. Or if you wait a year, I can give you $5 billion. How many women are actually going to wait a year for the $5 billion, and how many women are actually going to want to take the $10,000 today? Think about that shit. That's pretty much risk assessment analysis for women. Today, I can offer you $10,000. In a year, I can offer you $5 billion if you wait a year. Women aren't finna wait like that. They're finna take the $10,000 and think everything's going to be gravy for the most part. That's typically how that works. That's typically how a man thinks. He's not going to take the $10,000 if he thinks he can benefit from it in the future. It's about long-term strategy for men. He's not going to marry somebody or date somebody who he has a less of a chance of actually having children with, or a very low chance of having a child with. Like I said, men don't have a problem with finding mates when they get out of college. Women have a problem with finding mates when they get out of college. It's just facts. But I digress. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank y'all for coming to the I Don't Need a Man Girl, basically, video, which is part 2 to I Could Do Bad All By Myself. Y'all have a blessed day. Be good.